Kristen Gillespie, the head coach at Illinois State. The Redbirds are in the house. Coach Gillespie, so good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited about talking about your team and getting a chance to watch some film with you because I want to know from you before we start watching, like the analytics versus the instinct that you have as a head coach. I mean, you got a great staff, you got a lot of information. How much do you apply, in practice and in games? And then how much do you rely on instinct when you see something in practice or in a game?
Yeah, I think our prep work there, you have a great plan and you do look at the analytics. I mean, we stat every practice, we in depth, going from this summer. So when we think about like what a good shot is for each player, we have the data for that. And then the prep of how do people guard and what do we think works. But then there's always that element of going with your gut within a game. Your game plan may work, but there might be something that you see that's a little different, or you think you need to make a little bit of a substitution because you think this kid could really impact, and maybe that wasn't what we talked about early on. And I'd like to say it works all the time, but there's sometimes that I'm like, ooh, yeah, my gut was lying to me a little bit. But I think the longer you do this, that instincts of knowing, when to deviate from the plan or tweak it a little bit, even if it's live in the game. But that's what makes coaching so fun too, just the strategy behind it.
If you've been charting everything since your team came together, like I'm guessing around June, what area have you seen the greatest growth?
I think our shooting percentage right now, our field goal percentage and our 3-point shooting percentage is
you're leading the league in that field goal percentage. That's
we're eighth,
under
we're
50
eighth in the country right now. And just of it's really unique too, because this year, more so than any year that since we've been here in 8 years, we have so many new faces. So there was a learning curve from our staff's point of view and for our players of, you see what kids can do on film or what they did in high school or at their old school. How is it going to fit within your philosophy with what you're trying to do? So this summer, we're not a system-based team. We kind of tweak it every year. So this summer was kind of, let's see what they can do. Who plays well together? What unique skill set does Elise have that maybe we didn't think she had, or what has Shannon gotten better? So this summer, it was kind of just like an experiment. We played a lot. We just let them kind of, I don't want to say roll the balls out, but kind of like, how do we take this group and mold them into a team that can potentially, have a chance to win our league.
So the last time you and I got together to watch film, you were still trying to figure out some of the offenses that you wanted to run, some of the concepts. Like you were really dabbling. Like I get when you say it's not just one system. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with doing one system. There's a lot of coaches that do it that way. But to constantly change and evolve around your personnel really takes a lot of homework, a lot of concept development, a lot of player development. So having said that, let's break it down and watch some film. One of my favorite things to do is
Sounds
watch
good.
film. All right, what you got?
All right, so since the theme is like we are scoring it at a pretty high rate, and what we've really gotten our players to buy into is what is a good shot versus a great shot. And our team loves to share the ball. And I know most teams say that, but this team, they've really, they've taken it upon themselves to take it to another level. Our last game, we had 27 made shots, 24 were assisted, which is incredible. So I had our staff. I do not want to take credit for this. I had Drew Cole, assistant on our staff. We were talking and he clipped some things for me, and I made some notes of just how in our early offense, how we try to put our players in great positions to score. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of these. Our first within our motion, we kind of run a 4-out, 1-in motion. We've gone away from setting so many ball screens. It's more of predicated on cuts and trying to get into the pinch post. The first is we are going to set a naked ball screen over here. And our first option is always to refuse. Shannon gets downhill. She doesn't wait for the ball screen. Addie's coming in, but that's something that our players are trained in. ball screen covered, the first thing you do, can I refuse the screen? We don't even want to have to use the screen. And as you saw right here, I'll play it again. I think Shan does a great job. One of the most dynamic guards in our league, just fearless going to her right hand. Second here, I put some, let me get my, there you go. We got some notes here. All right, Addie's going to ghost this ball screen right here. Decent pace. E gets downhill. Read in the defense, simple duck in. Once again, trying to put that pressure. We ghost. They're not ready for it. We get into the teeth of the defense. Now it's E's responsibility. Does she have floater? Nibe did a great job ducking in. And then right now, Addie's going to set this ball screen for Maya. Maya, one of the more gifted ball screen two-man players in our league, makes the correct read. She gets downhill. And that's a reason why our shooting percentage is so high. We're getting a lot of shots at the rim.
When you go away from ball screen offense to more cutting, it looks to me like you're playing more through the elbows, through the nail, just making sure you get a piece of the paint on those cuts.
Yes, and that's something we chart every possession. We chart sides every possession, our scoring first, second, third side, but it's also paint touches, whether it's through penetration, whether it's through a post feed. Our players know that, our paint is red. We want to play through that red. We want to play through the paint. And that's something they've done a great job. Most of what we're going to watch today, every shot is going to be within that paint, because that's, we have a good formula with our post players. This year, we have a really talented group of post players that can really stretch the floor. They can play, Nevaeh Thomas shoots the three. Addie Martin can play at about 17 feet. But what their unique gift is, they're very good off the bounce and they're phenomenal passers. So anytime our post players get the ball, whether it's in the trail or we call the pinch, like kind of at that elbow area, their first option is always, can I make a play? Can I rip? And you're going to see a couple right here. Nevaeh, we set that ball screen, we reverse, and Vay's going to come right into this pinch. Her first option is always to make a play. Mm-hmm. She's same thing. Our post ability to play off the bounce. Nevaeh is one of the most gifted passers in the post that I've ever coached. Right here, I'm going to pause this. We're about to put the defense in a no-win situation. We're just going to start with a simple flat ball screen right off the rail, and Vay's going to foul it with a flash. The help side, you have to pick your poison, because Vay has a rip, Addie's going to seal for a lob, and we have Elise, our best shooter, in the corner. So right here, Addie rolls. She has that, she sits, she pins. So we have the lob. Vay's going to catch. She could rip. E's wide open. Vay makes that perfect read, little pass fake. But it helps when you have players that can do multiple things from that high post. Such a simple play, but so effective. And now the last couple things we're going to get into is kind of more like within our motion. We play a lot of like two-man games out of zooms and out of what we call kiss cuts. So we're going to watch some of our zooms right here. I think we're going to get to this out of Addie's going to ghost. We go right into that pinch. It's going to be a pinch zoom, two-man. E has a great read right here. And Elise is deadly at those elbows. It's just great screen by Mai. No matter how defenses want to play this, we can go back door. We can get some quick slips. Shan's going to get downhill right here. She snaps. We call this the shake up. So Shan gets cut off. She gets downhill, gets cut off. We hit Maya in that shake-up roll. Now Maya goes right in. Vay's about to get fouled on this play. But, that's, once again, if you don't switch, if you don't cut, you're going to give something up. And our players have done a great job of picking up these reads. Finally, Maya's going to come off this zoom right here. The defender's going to go under. She makes a great read of they cut, pop, bang, three. So it's just, and we do breakdowns every day in practice and it's such a simple action, but you can get so much out of it. You can get backdoor cuts. You can get the post coming off the roll. You can hit the shake up. The other thing we love to do, we call these kiss cuts out of our cuts and pinch action. So we're a little slow. Don't mind the pace right here. We must be a little fatigued. So Addie's going to cut through. Vay lifts up. Now we're going into what we call a kiss cut. Ian, Addie are going to come together on that left side and just Addie, great cut right there, great cut with
Just
pace.
a read, right? You're just
That's
reading,
all it is. It's a two-man, and once again, you
come
have to just
together and
yep.
then play
We
up.
yep, we call it a little kiss. We're gonna come almost together. Now our post does have the option to tight it right here. We go back to what we talked about in the beginning of our teams love to share the ball. Addie's gonna set this kiss cut up, great pace. We throw it, Shan's man comes over, she makes the read, bang three for Shan. Just our ability to pick up, playing with pace, pick up those cuts, make the pass, see the help, and that's a great shot for Shannon. Shannon's one of the more improved offensive players in our league, but especially from the 3-point line. Last one right here, we're going to get the kiss cut, and I apologize. I didn't cut this a little bit sooner, but Addie's actually going to get the post up right here. She cuts through. Savannah's going to lift up. E and Ad mesh together. We cut. Now it's a post one-on-one. Ads does a great job of sealing. I mean, once
Mhm.
again, all these besides the two three-point shots, which were great reads, all the scoring is coming within the paint for us.
So your analytics, well, a lot of teams, if they catch it that close, might kick it back out to the three. If you catch it in the paint with 2 feet around the rim, you want your players to finish.
100%, and that's another thing, we drill daily on our kiss cuts. We don't wanna sell that cut short. Our rule of thumb is you have to get a good step into the paint, kind of the old charge circle. You have to be within that to before you can sit and spin, and we've charted it. When we can successfully make that pass, if we can get the right timing, you're either getting fouled or it's scoring. I mean, and our post players have done a great job with that. The last one here, the last option of this, E, once again, we got E and Addie. E's timing isn't great right here. We kind of screw this up a little bit last game, but Maya and Ads are going to get to the kiss cut. Both defenders go with Addie. Addie had a heck of a game the other day. Both go wide open three for Maya. So
You
it's
don't
just
make my open.
no, you don't. So you're just kind of waiting to see how are the defenses going to react. What are they? You can't take away everything, and it just goes back to drilling this over. We just do motion shooting. Sometimes we'll have defense, sometimes we won't. We'll give them the reads, but this is 8 or 10 minutes every single day of our practice before we get into the thick of our offense of just picking up the reads. And then the last thing, if I have time, we love 2-man actions. We revel in these. I mean, it's so simple. Once again, Elise, she's lethal at that elbow right here. We just set a simple wide pin down. I mean, she gets in there. She's really hard to guard.
Even with her size.
She's 5'7", but you're going to see it again right here. I
Yeah.
mean, I believe that, yeah, she just gets in, and then we have one more look at it. And once again, going back to what we talked about with our posts, anytime our posts catch at the elbow, they know whether we're running a set, whatever we're doing, their first option. Oh, I didn't have it. I'm sorry. I picked
Your
that one.
first option is rip it.
A rip.
Go.
I took that one out. I apologize, but I had one of Addie rip, and she catches. The defense all their eyes go to that 2-man action. It's kind of a post ISO. She breaks it down. I added the wrong clip. Yep, that's what I get for trying to add my own clips in here. I should have just done.
We'll give you one. We'll give you one mistake. One mistake. The whole idea of playing through the elbow and through the pinch, like, shouldn't every player in D1 basketball be able to rip it, one dribble, hit it to the rim and get fouled or scored? I mean, shouldn't everybody, even you and me, could do that back in the day, right? I mean, if you play the game low to high, you should be able to get there.
You're absolutely right. Now, with your stats, I know you are able to do that. That probably wasn't in my skill set, but no, it's such. And when you have posts that can do that, I think, and then you have posts that are very willing passers and they're very gifted. I think that's what's making our team, our offense so hard to guard. I think we're, 40th in the country in points per game. We're top 50 in 3-point shooting. We just take good shots. We are really smart with, we want to take the best shots for each individual. And I think our team has done a great job of, it's not about them. There's no ego. They know what a good shot for each player is. And we don't take quote unquote bad shots.
We don't have a lot in common. However, one thing we do have in common is we see the game through an offensive lens. I'm more worried about scoring so I can set my defense than I am trying to get a stop so I can get out on the break. That's the way I see it. Like, let's score, let's run our stuff, let's do it based on our personnel, let's run some good action. And we can offensive rebound, but I got confidence in my shooters. And I'm just getting back maybe one person having maybe the ability for a long rebound because we shoot a lot of threes, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm not spending a whole lot of time on the shell drill.
I will tell you this year, and it probably shows a little, we have spent the least amount of time on defense. When I got the job 8 years ago, we won games without scoring 40 points. And yes, I did say that. We won two league games without scoring. But thank goodness our
Not this year.
recruiting has evolved. We have become a little bit more marketable to good offensive players. But yeah, it's just that's the name of the game, scoring and putting a product that people are excited not only to play in but to watch. I think that's been the biggest growth of our game, and I still like to get a stop because I love to get out and run. Our break is pretty good. We have some really dynamic players, and Elise and Shannon are supposed to do a phenomenal job of rim running. So that's always fun where you don't have to maybe set up an offense. So there is some value to some stops every now and then, but no,
Yeah.
we've definitely shifted a little bit.
I mean, I love a good balanced conversation about offense and defense, but I like about an 80-20 discussion about offense most of the time. Coach Gillespie, thank you for taking the time to break down some of your sets. I love watching film, and I love watching film with you. I always learn something. So thank you for doing this with us on Nothing But Net.
And before I get off, I have to congratulate you on your latest honor of being enshrined in the rafters at our alma mater. What an unbelievable accomplishment, and no one is more deserving for what you've done for our game. And I'm extremely proud to call you a friend and to know that you're a fellow member of the K Phi Yao. So congratulations.
Thank you. If you're going to get all serious on me, yeah, I mean, I wish you could have been there. There are a lot of former players, and we know what it means. I mean, we certainly understand basketball in the South, and Reynolds Coliseum has had a lot to do with it. And I was really at a loss for words. I really didn't know how I was going to handle it when I walked out there, but it was very emotional for me because I grew up in that gym. So I literally and figuratively grew up in that gym. So I'm glad that my whole family could be there with us. So that was great. We missed you, but you know what? We'll celebrate another time.
We will. I'm sure there's a time that we can get together and celebrate you. But it was awesome. So I'm so proud of you. So
thank you. We know where it comes from, so we get it. So thank you very much, and thanks for being on the pod and breaking down film. We want to watch film again. Will you make time for us again? Can we do this again? Like maybe
we can do it anytime you want. This is always a highlight.
It's a highlight for me. So I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to do it with you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right, that's the nicest we've been to each other in the last 3 minutes ever, I think. So
it's weird. I know we got it's a little uncomfortable.
Cut it off. No, really. Thanks, Coach Gillespie.
You're welcome, Miss Antonelli.